1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, welcome back to Country Cold Cans. As always, I'm Logan, sitting here with Andy, Kyle, Classic Rock Carter. Unfortunately, I don't know who keeps inviting this guy back. And we have another guest this week, a good buddy of ours named Jordan Hargrove, big Carolina fan, which is also unfortunate. But, you know, Jordan is soon to be joining the team here on Cold Cans Network because he and I have a college football podcast we're going to be doing seasonally coming up in the fall. We'll have some more details as we get closer on that with, you know, the name and what to expect and when the release date is. But Jordan, welcome to the show for the first time ever at Country Cold Cans.
Thank you. Glad to be a part of this. Can't wait to see what we got in store.
Yeah, you might not say that after your first episode. Carter, we talk shit to him every time he comes on, but he keeps, it's like we always say with Carter, it's like feeding a stray cat, and he keeps coming back.
Keep leaving the door unlocked, and I just keep somehow getting into the Zoom call. I just keep finding the links to this thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out who is sending you the link, and you keep showing up because at some point I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna ban this guy.
I secretly forward him the link every time.
Exactly. I'm gonna pull a Twitter on Trump and just ban your ass.
A permaban.
But no, I appreciate having both of you guys on here, Carter and Jordan. So yeah, let's jump into it. We're bringing it back. It's been a little while since we've done it. So we're here with Slapper Crap. Those of you who have listened before know what we do. We pick 5 to 6 songs. This week is 6. And we talk about, I mentioned the songs, and we talk about whether, as the kids say, does it slap or is it crap? So let's jump right into it. We have one named Death Row by Tommy Rhett, old TR himself, and he sings this one with Russell Dickerson and Tyler Hubbard. Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line, Russell Dickerson, the guy who sings the pop song about Blue Tacoma. Not a fan of that guy, really. Not really a fan of FGL that much, but it's a song that's pretty much about learning from people on death row. So I kind of want to open it up before we go into it more. Andy, what do you think? Death Row, Tommy Rhett, FGL guy, and Blue Tacoma guy. Does it slap or is it crap?
I'm going to have to go light slap. I like the idea of the song, but I'm just not a huge fan of the execution of it, but it's not terrible.
All right.
Very light slap.
All right. This
golf
one light
slap.
One light. It's a golf slap instead of a golf clap. All right. All right. So Kyle, what do you think? Slap or crap? Death Row, Tommy Rhett.
Russell Dickerson is AIDS. Tommy Rhett's verse, his part of the song is pretty good. I like how it's a very humble song. If this was just a Tommy Rhett song, I probably would give it a slap. But he had to include Tyler Hubbard and Russell Dickerson, which just kind of, well, I mean, why? What benefit? What do they add to the song? Not a lot.
Not shit.
Yeah, not shit. I mean, and Russell Dickerson, he's just awful. I know he tours with him or has toured with him, so maybe that's why he's on this. But I just don't see a benefit for him being on the song. I agree with Andy. I like the idea. It just there's no reason for the other two people to be on it, so I'm gonna give it a crap just because there's no real purpose for Russell Dickerson and Tyler Hubbard to be on it. If this was just Tommy Rhett, it probably would be like a 6.5, 7 out of 10.
That's kind of high. You listen to Dave Portnoy's pizza reviews. That's kind of a decent score. But
yeah,
you know.
Well, I like the idea of the song. I just don't like the two people that are on it.
Sure. I get it. I mean, look, just like on Miserable and Reckless, we own our bias here. If they don't like it, fuck them. Carter, What do you think? Slap or crap? Tommy Rhett, Death Row. You don't like country much outside of Alabama, and you don't like pop country at all. So what do you think?
Well, I'm going to be honest. Literally, I've listened to all 5 of these songs once, all the way through. So my opinions on these aren't going to be super strong. This first one here, I mean, I've heard a million country songs that sound like this. The subject of it, I mean, I guess that's all right. It has some meaning to somebody. It doesn't really have a whole lot of meaning to me. I'm going to agree with our trucker friend here and give it the lightest of slaps. It's okay. I ain't gonna ever be pulling this one up on Spotify ever again. but I ain't gonna sit here and say it's garbage.
So you're telling me this isn't going to be Highway Kind by Josh Abbott Band that just sneakily sneaks into your top 5 on your Spotify Wrapped?
No, it's not. Sadly, we didn't get to produce that episode where I did have strong feelings against a lot of those songs. But
well, that episode made the air.
Oh, it did? Oh,
well, if you listen to the podcast, maybe you would know. So next question. We're going to Jordan.
Thanks, man.
Jordan. All right. So, man, it's the first time. Carolina Jordan, I just rebranded you here on Country and Cold Cans. As you know, my dad used to call you Carolina when we were in middle school.
It kind of reminds me of your dad.
Exactly. So welcome, Country Cold Cans, first edition of Slapper Crap with you. So I'm assuming you heard the song because I gave the homework. So Death Row, Tyler Hubbard, Russell Dickerson, Tommy Rhett. What do you think? Slapper Crap?
I kind of liked it. I really did. I'm going to be against them. I like the slap. I mean, I'm kind of more of the old school. The only now I do kind of, I don't know. It was, I'm with, it would be a lot better with just Thomas Rhett just because of the poppiness of it. But I like how it kind of makes everybody relate. It can, some people can get into that. It's like basically just hanging out with the boys. Most people are like that anyway. And it's no different apparently to Death Row people, but I don't know. I liked it. There's on that playlist I had 2 I didn't, 2 I did, and 2 I did, 3 I did. Wait, I just messed that all up.
Math is hard.
Yeah, I went to ECU. So you know how that goes.
Yeah.
But
Vince McMahon just said about ECU on the Pat
Harvard
McAfee
of the
show.
South.
He said it's the Harvard of the South. He was just on Pat McAfee on March 3rd.
He was 100% correct.
Yeah, I have to give it the ultimate slap instead of, if I have to choose, it's going to be a slap.
All right, fair enough. All right, so that leaves me. All right, so with this song, I like the song. I don't love the song. And it's similar to what Andy said. I hate that I had to wait so long to follow Andy up, but I agree with him. The idea of the song is great. The execution was a little bit lackluster. I think that when they sat down to write this song, the idea of, hey, we can learn a lot from people who have turned their lives around after they've made a grave mistake and they're on death row. Fantastic idea for a country song. Let's call a spade a spade. We're, how here on Country Cold Cans, we're not the folks that are going to be like, just because it's somebody from pop country, we're going to think it all automatically sucks. I think this song's a decent song. I agree with Kyle that Tyler Hubbard and Russell Dickerson being on it unnecessary. I don't like Russell Dickerson at all. Some FGL songs back in the day when I was 18, I can get down with and drink some beer with the boys. It can be fun. Do I think they're good? No. Do I think they can be enjoyable? Yes. Those two things can exist at the same time. But with this song in particular, I give it a light slap just because from a songwriting perspective, I don't think that it was they got as deep in this wonderful idea for a song that they could have. They kind of hit this is the swimming in the shallow end of the pool on a great idea. Because you can learn a lot from people that have turned their lives around on death row, and they didn't dive into that enough. And I think that's my criticism of the song, but it's still a decent song. Light slap from me.
I think they tried because Thomas Rhett has made numerous statements how he's listened to a lot more of Eric Church.
Yeah,
I think he tried to capture the lightning magic.
Yes,
and they just didn't make it.
You're trying to say he tried to capture lightning in a bottle.
You could say that, yes. You could
he just
say
had
that.
a shitty bottle.
Yeah.
He tried to capture that song, but it didn't quite get there.
No.
And I think maybe if he was just by himself, he might have gotten
well,
there.
No, even if the lyrics had stayed the same and he was by himself, it wouldn't have gotten there. Like I said, it's
right,
I don't mean this negatively to TR. It's a half-assed attempt at trying to write lightning, but it's still not a bad song. You know what I mean?
No, it's not.
Just, it's not as good as Lightning. If you haven't listened to Lightning, definitely listen to that. I think it was from the Sinners Like Me album from Eric Church in 2006. Great song about, a redemption arc of someone who's on death row. So I think that Kyle, I hadn't thought about that. I think that's a great point that, he's been listening to a lot of Eric Church lately. And I think that, that's probably where the idea came from. He just didn't execute to the level that we are used to from, say, an Eric Church, but Thomas Rhett is an Eric Church.
No, he's not. No.
Yeah. All right. So, what's the final tally? We had 2 light slaps, 1 slap, and 2 craps?
Yeah, it was a crap.
It gets a average grade from the Country Cold Cans crew. All right, moving into Joshua Hedley, Neon Blue. So Joshua Hedley is a guy who I've been following on Twitter for about 2 years. And to be honest, I'm embarrassed to say this as a self-avowed independent music fan. I have not listened really at all to any of his music. He's just been kind of funny to follow on Twitter. And Carter, he's a big wrestling fan. So you actually probably would have a lot to talk about with this guy if we could ever get him on the show. But I know he's played some shows down on Lower Broadway in Nashville. He is a very, very, very country artist. If you want to talk about anything that like sonically comes to mind, is 90s country all day long. And for me, I'll start to kind of shift it up this time. Neon Blue, I think it slaps. I'm not saying it's the deepest song ever, but a lot of those 90s songs aren't. Like Neon Blue is just a fun kind of country song that, in the same vein that we talked about last week with Larry Fleet and John Party's In Love With My Problems, it takes a kind of a serious thing of your woman leaving you, classic trope in country music, and makes it into a fun kind of like 90s country sound. And I really dig this guy's voice. I dig the production. It's straight up 90s country. I give it a slap in my book. Switch it, like I said, going backwards. Jordan, what do you think, man? Slap or crap? Joshua Hedley, Neon Blue.
I'm definitely with you on the slap. Like you said, it's all about the 90s country for me. It takes me back. Even though that's really all I listen to. I don't listen to a lot of today's country mostly. I will, but definitely takes me back to what the good country music, as I say, was, and gives a little bit of a story, has that heartbreak in there. But his voice is very good also. That's what really kind of does it for me there. So.
All right, 2 slaps. All right, Classic Rock Carter. You have a little bit more of an affinity for some 90s sounding country, more so than, say, Trucker Andy does. But what do you think? Slap or crap? Joshua Hedley, Neon Blue.
Well, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there, brother.
Let me tell you something, brother.
From me. That's absolutely exactly. This was the one I like the most out of our 6 that we're covering today.
Interesting.
Just straight up, late 80s, early 90s, country music, stuff I like. This is the kind of thing that you want when you go out to the bar with your boys, having a good old time. You want this playing in the background. I mean, it's got the heartbreak in it, but I mean, it's a fun way of handling heartbreak, like all those songs did back in the day. It just because it's a song about heartbreak doesn't have to be some deep, mopey, my girl left me and I'm going to go black out in a bar until 4 a.m.
But instead you're like, my girl left me. I'm going out with the boys. I'm going to go black out in the bar.
Yeah, exactly. At least
4
my
a.m.
boys will be there to take me home. But yes, nice slap from me. Not the hardest of slaps, but I mean, that's a solid slap. I'd give this like a 8 out of 10.
All right. So 3 slaps.
I think Carter thought that was shit until you told him he was a wrestling fan and then he flipped.
Nah.
That's very possible. We're going to have to do a Country and Cold Cans investigation to see if Carter's actual opinions or his opinions, or if he's just like, oh, anybody that likes wrestling, I'm going to like what they say.
Yeah, you might have to investigate over at CCC Wrestling on Twitter. Maybe follow the page. I don't know.
Today's episode is brought to you by the new Cold Cans Wrestling Twitter page. Carter has started, Classic Rock Carter himself has started a brand new wrestling Twitter page that is also covered on the website. We've got a couple articles written by the man himself. And, he's got his new Twitter page. He's going to be live tweeting all the events. He just did a AEW Revolution this past Sunday. Big WWE events, almost all the AEW events. Check it out. Follow it. Carter gives some good in-depth analysis for the wrestling fans out there. So check that out at CCC Wrestling, WRASSILIN. Is it apostrophe in the handle?
Can't do apostrophes in the
No
app.
apostrophe in the handle. Okay. So, yeah. All right. Well, there's 3 slaps. Kyle, what do you think? Neon Blue, Joshua Hedley.
Oh, yeah. Me and you have very similar taste as well as Jordan. Screams 90s country, which is always a welcome sight. I think that's one reason we're a big fan of Tristan Mraz on this pod. So, yeah, it's not a lot to the song. It's not very deep, but it's just it's a song that you walk up and slap the jukebox and play it, and you walk away looking like a badass. So yeah, it's a slap for me.
There we go. All right, that's 4. Andy. the resident 90s country hater, the one guy who doesn't actually like country music, the one guy who is a self-loathing country music fan, the one guy who decides that he only likes it if it's Americana. You're the emo girl at the lunch table per Rich O'Toole. So what do you think? Neon Blue by Joshua Hedley.
I'll make it a solid 5 for 5 on the slaps.
Ooh,
but I will say,
right.
after an album of that, I'll have my fill. I don't want to listen to it a second time.
All right, well, I'll give you half credit for that. But that's still
full credit.
That's still 5 slaps for a song that is, you should definitely check out, Joshua Hedley's Neon Blue. All right, so that one gets, as they say on the really shitty country music website, Taste of Country, because they never say anything negative about anybody, which you don't have to worry about here on Country Cold Cans, because we say a lot of people, hey, fuck you. On Taste of Country, they say tasted and improved. This was tasted and improved by Country and Cold Cans. All right, so moving into the next one. We have Fishing on a River by Jake Owen. Little intro here. Jake Owen is a artist that is somebody who I am admittedly a fan of. At the same time, sometimes really frustrates me with his song selection. Andy, I want you to start, because I think that what you texted me the other day when I sent this kind of sums up how I feel about it too. So slap or crap, Fishing on a River, Jake Owen.
This one's the slap. This one was my favorite out of all the ones we had today. It reminds me of the first 3 albums of Jake Owen. It's never, it's not the greatest song in the world, but I do think it is pretty well written. And I like the line that, what is it? If somebody had his best rods and it was he had a better day planned or whatever. I like that line.
All right, it's the one slap, Fishing on a River. All right, Jordan, what do you think? Fishing on a River, Jake Owen.
I'm going to also give it a slap. I think this is more the earlier Jake Owen, like Andy said, like the one that got away.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
right. But don't give me that down to the honky tonk. I'm just not a big fan of something like that. But I do like this song, and I think it kind of reflects of why I'm a Jake Owen fan.
All right, Kyle, slap or crap, Fishing on a River.
Jake Owen goes in the same category as the Blake Shelton. There's so much potential, but just so much frustration at the same time. It's good to see new music from Jake Owen, but this wasn't what I wanted. And this is one of those generic list songs, I feel like. And I'm not a big fan of it.
All right, so what's that?
The like I said, Jake Owen has a phenomenal voice, and he can sell you a polished dog turd and make it sound good. It doesn't mean it's good though.
Fair.
That's the way I look at this song. It sounds really good.
So you're calling this song a polished dog turd?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
That's pretty much what. Yeah, that's probably accurate.
But the question is this a big steaming pile of Eli turd, or is this a little Bella turd?
This is about like the white dog crap in Step Brothers. This is about where that's at.
So you got to listen to it, but you got to get forced to listen to it. So you got to lick it, like
you got to lick it just to get a real taste of what you're dealing with. You're going to bend down, give it a sniff, and then lick it because some third graders are telling you to do it.
You're going to lick that white dog crap. You're going to lick that white dog crap. This is one of those songs. If it's on the radio, I have no real objection to leaving it there. I'm not going to change it, but it's just
All right.
Yeah. So
look, fair enough, man.
It's like crap for me. I know I'm going to be in the minority on this one, but
I have a feeling that CRC himself was probably going to agree with you. So, Classic Rock Carter, what do you think? We've got 2 slaps, 1 crap. Fishing on a River, Jake Owen, what do you think?
Well, you caught me. I do agree with Kyle here.
Caught you with your pecker in your hand.
Very generic song here. This song, I've heard a million country songs that's literally just, I'm doing this, I got this, I'm gonna go do this. Oh my God, it's so tired. I'm so sick of it. It's not awful. I'm not going to sit here and like vehemently hate on it, but I'm so bored. I like crap.
All right. All right. So we're tied 2-2. So I'm the tie-breaking vote. With this song in particular, I'm not gonna lie to you, Andy. I'm kind of with you. I really liked it, but with some nuance. I liked it in the sense that I like the story behind the song. Where I disagree with Colin Carter is I do think that has a little bit more. I liken it to early Coetzel in that it has more depth than you think on the first listen. It seems like, oh, he's comparing fishing to his woman leaving him. Yes, but there's something there to that. He literally tells a story from the beginning. He's not like doing a Bury Me in Dixie by Riley Green, where he's just naming everything in Alabama from Auburn to Alabama and all, and number 3 on his casket. He's actually telling a story of he got up this morning thinking it was going to be a great day. He got everything together to go fishing, and then his woman decides she's going to leave. Again, classic songwriting in country music. And then he is now sitting at a bar instead of fishing on the river. And the part that I like, Andy, was actually in the chorus where I was like saying, now wetting my whistle instead of wetting my line. I think that's a good line. Now, my criticism of the song is it's very much a lead single to a mainstream country album in that it is very pop country. It's very mainstream, but it's not like hip hop beats and a kind of rhythmic cadence or a EDM's kind of song like that, a human atrocity, fancy like by that bastard. Whatever his name is. I don't even want to say
Walker
it.
Hayes.
Walker Hayes. Yeah, that guy. Awful song. This song is a song that if it had been done in the melody hadn't been as riddled with pop sensibilities and the production was a little bit countryer, I think that Kyle probably would have liked it better. And I understand why he doesn't. But at the same time, I think it's a solid song. And I think it's a song that it's catchy enough, but also has a little bit more on the hook, so to speak. Pun definitely intended with the fishing than people realize. So I give it a light slap. I personally like it. It's the same way that I like some of Hardy or Wallen's music, like Up Down, terrible song, but I kind of like it. So it's like you can like a song without thinking it's a good song. And I think I like this song without thinking it's really, really good.
Yeah,
So I give it a light slap. So I think we're 3-2 on this one. We've been 3-2, 5-0, 3-2. All right. Not bad so far. All right. Moving into.
No.
Lord have mercy. I want to know y'all's opinions on this. The name of the title of this song is the title of this song is not great. The artist has been the most disappointing artist that I can think of in a long time, considering the first lead single, Dustin Lynch, Party Mode. I mean, we all outside of Carter himself can probably say we've been in party mode at some points in our lives, if not multiple times in our lives, but
or for years.
But start with CRC himself. What do you think of Party Mode, Dustin Lynch?
Oh boy. This was not good. I don't just the one listen I had of it. I don't think I've heard a more like downbeat party song. The fact that literally the chorus is just him saying party mode, party mode, party mode. Ah, man. That crap. I can't say much else but crap. I was not a fan of this at all. Worst song that you've given us out of this 6.
All right. So Kyle, party mode. Are you like, when you hear this, you go into party mode and you want to crack some cold ones on country and cold cans and be like, this shit slaps? Or are you just going to be like, yeah, I want to crack a cold one because this is shit?
I want to slip my wrist.
The real question is across the train tracks or with them?
Yeah, this song gives me
for sure.
This song gives me an aneurysm. It's not a chorus if you repeat the same phrase 4 times. It's not a chorus. It's just shit is what it is. Going back to the most disappointing people, I can't put him in that category because he's just been shit other than like his first 2 or 3 songs he came out with.
First album was lit.
Yeah, first album.
Andy only likes that because his girlfriend at the time and him used to like it. Andy used to be that guy wearing a cutoff
Cowboys
shirt.
And Angels. Does he have a big fan of Cowboys and Angels?
No, it's not that. Andy used to be the guy with the cutoff shirt, and he'd be wearing his Reagan Bush hat, and Andy would be like, yep, that's where it's at.
That was his second album.
You still like that song?
Andy's the Dustin Lynch connoisseur here. But
Andy probably does know his music the best, save for maybe Jordan, because I don't know.
Yeah, this song's just shit, man. It's just shit. It's just shit through and through. If shit was a verb, it would be this song.
A verb or a noun?
No, verb. Party mode. Two party mode. 2 party mode.
All right, fair enough. All right, 2 shits.
Hey, man, I graduated on time.
I think some shots were thrown right there.
Hey, 4.5, baby. 4.5.
He just wanted that extra football season without having to buy season tickets. That's all it was. Especially, I think it was the year that they beat Carolina. With 72 points on the board, right?
No, that was my junior year, sophomore junior year.
But Jordan was there for that. Just wanted to confirm.
Yeah. I was in a neutral color. I was not wearing purple. I was not wearing blue. I was a neutral color.
All right. Well, all right, neutral man. What do you think about this song, "Party Mode" by Dustin Lynch?
All right. I'm gonna definitely continue the trend here. I'm gonna go with crap. With the if it says anything, my girlfriend likes it, which means I hate it. Because that's just the way our music goes. It is oh yeah, this sounds great. Jordan, listen to Dustin Lynch's new album. Sure, sounds great. And then you listen to that one and it's like, what is going on? This is not even country music. I mean, sure, if we want to throw this on the pop playlist, sure, let's go ahead and get it on there. But this is not country music. This is just not anything close to it. It doesn't tell a story. It don't have the crying of a steel guitar. It don't have nothing.
Dilly.
It's pretty bad when it comes to that. I don't even want to go dance. I don't want to hear it in the club. The only way I listen to this is to make fun of it.
All right. So that's 3 craps. Andy, what do you think?
I don't hate it as much as everybody else.
Of course,
party mode.
The Dustin Lynch stan.
The party mode thing being repeated is pretty much hot garbage, but the rest of it's not the worst. I mean, I would describe it more as you think you got to take a big shit, you sit down on the toilet, and it's just farts. Could be worse, could be better.
Well, Andy, I can already see him now just riding down Route 66. Party mode, party mode, party mode.
Yeah. Well, Andy,
his toilet farts.
To continue your defecating analogies, when I was a young kid, I had a Doberman Pinscher. Her name was Casey. She lived in the backyard in the fence, and when she would take a shit after eating a big old bowl of kibbles, it would be a big, steaming pile of shit, like huge shit, so like cow shits almost. And that's pretty much the equivalent of what this song is. It was my Doberman Pinscher shit in the backyard that when you stepped in it, you were like, motherfucker. That was pretty much what this song is. From the production of it to the songwriting, just to everything all involved. It's not quite as bad as Fancy Like, but it's pretty damn bad. So count me out. This is terrible. Dustin Lynch, you have so much potential to do better. Walker Hayes, we don't know if he can do better. He's consistently put out bad songs. Whereas Dustin Lynch...
Fairly certain.
Go ahead.
I'm fairly certain this song has auto-tune in it.
Oh, yeah.
It absolutely does.
Probably.
And I'm not talking about like the studio edit auto-tune. I'm talking like T-Pain-esque auto-tune.
Yeah, you're right. I noticed it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm talking about serious auto-tune.
Yeah.
Which is a disgrace.
Well, that's 5 all the way around.
Now, a question. I want to just add a question here for everybody. Do we think that the TikTokers are going to make this song popular?
No, it's not a danceable song.
It's not a big enough.
Because like you give Jordan enough Bud Lights at Fifth Street in Greenville, and even he might be, I'm fancy like Applebee's on a date night, kind of like shit like that. Like I can't blame someone if you get drunk and you're gonna like kind of dance a little bit to the Applebee's song because it has kind of that bouncy cadence to it. This one, no, like party mode. Come on, the most least party mode melody I've heard. Shit. Not even crappy shit. So yeah. Anyways, enough with Dustin Lynch. Complete disappointment most of the time. All right, move into a guy who I really don't know much about, and I discovered this through my release radar. A guy named Colten Jesse. I'm gonna have to. I don't have much to say about this guy because I don't know a lot about him. I've got to actually read some more about him and find out some stuff. But he has a song named Denim Dan. So Andy, what do you think about Denim Dan by Colten Jesse?
I don't 100% know what the song's about, but I'm going to give it a slap because if anybody that goes by the name Denim Dan, I feel like that's somebody I could be a friend with.
All right, that's one slap. All right, Carolina Jordan, Denim Dan, Colten Jesse.
I don't know. I don't really honestly have a reason for not liking it, but just for some reason it did not appeal to me. So I'm going to give it a crap. I don't really know. It just didn't jump out at me. I don't know what it should be. It's nothing. Just didn't like it.
All right, so that's 1-1. Kyle,
yeah, the song slaps. It's like this song is a Garth Brooks and Matchbox 20 hybrid.
It's an interesting combination.
It's who it reminds me of. He reminds me of if Garth Brooks and Matchbox 20 had a baby. It's really what it reminds me of. Like I don't really know what it's about, but just the sound of it, I dig. So I dig it.
All right. CRC, what do you think?
So I'm gonna be 100% true.
Keep it 100.
Y'all.
Keep it 100.
I don't remember this song, which means it did not make an impression on me. Which I'm going to automatically say that because out of the 6 songs, I don't even remember the melody. I don't remember anything about it, which means it's like crap if it didn't even make an impression.
All right. So what's that? We have 2-2. So once again, it's back to me. I like the song. I need to to piggyback off of Andy, as they say on the political shows. I need to listen to it some more because I think this guy being an independent artist, and sometimes is the way that it is with independent artists. You have to listen a few more times to kind of really understand what some of them are saying about, because they get really like heavy into the songwriting. I don't know if this is a heavy song or if it's not. Like the name Denim Dan kind of makes you think it's not, but I really like the way it sounds, to Kyle's point. So I'm going to give it a light slap with the potential to be a heavy slap if I get what the song's about more when I need to listen to it more. I only listened to it twice. I needed to listen to it more, but look, give me a little bit of break. Today was my birthday. Had family calling me. Had a buddy of mine ask me to get wings after work. So it was like, didn't have as much time today as I usually would to prepare for the show. Don't hold it against me, listeners, but I like this song. I just need to listen to it more. So it's a very split 3-2 in favor of it slapping. All right. So moving into the final one on this edition of Slap or Crap, we have Maren Morris, who is someone that I have a very precarious relationship with as a music fan. Sometimes I really love her music. Sometimes I really don't. And this one, background music, want to see what you guys think. CRC, you start things off. What do you think of Maren Morris' background music?
Bit slow for my liking. Bit downbeat for my liking.
But you like Pink Floyd.
You're right. I do like Pink Floyd. You're right.
Yes, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know. Not my jam at all. I mean, I'm sure this is somebody's jam. I'm not going to say it's a crap. I'll give it like the most quiet slap in the world to be in the middle ground. This is for somebody. It's not for me, and I'm okay with that.
All right. Carolina Jordan, background music, Maren Morris, slap or crap?
I'm going to give it a crap. Like, I'm with you. I like Maren Morris. I like some of her music. But this one is just like, as much as I do love a good slow music, it just is a little too much flat to me. I'm not a big fan of it. Not going to listen to it again. Probably not one of my favorites. So,
all right, Kyle. What do you think?
What about this song qualifies it as a country song?
Fair question.
That is a fair question.
Very fair.
Now, to be fair,
other than the artist.
To be fair, we sometimes cover some music that is obviously not country that we like that gets put in that space, like Eric Church, Co Wetzel. Like we do have a history of doing that, but I agree with your point.
I don't even know what kind of genre this is.
I have reasoning for what I think it is, but
it's not a pop song.
Adult contemporary.
Yeah, I mean that's probably accurate.
It's just adult pop is all that is.
Yeah. This song left me with, in my notes on my notepad I have, it says blah. So that's the way I feel about this song. It's the only thing it's the only notes I had on it was it's just blah. So I'm really indifferent to it. So I give that a crap.
All right. So that's 3. Andy, what do you think?
I had to Google the lyrics to this song, but after reading the lyrics, this is a very well written song. The writing is good, but they could not have done a better job at fucking everything up past that. The sound of it, the singing of it, the production is all hot fucking garbage. So it's shit. They fucked up a really good song.
I had a feeling that this was how this was going to turn out, where it was 1 and 4. I think it's a light slap. I think it's a very light slap, but I'll give my reasoning, and the regulars on this show will understand why. This song sounds very, very much like Folklore Taylor Swift. And Folklore Taylor Swift, I think, is a really, really good album. If you can get past it being Taylor Swift and you give it a shot, it's a good record. Sonically, that's where I think it kind of resides. I also agree with Andy. I don't think it's a bad song from a songwriting perspective, but it's not something that I'm going to come back to regularly. It's going to be something that if it comes on in the mix, fair enough. If I'm forced to listen to the radio and it comes on, I'm not going to be mad about it, but I don't hate it. So light slap, golf clap, like Andy said, golf slap, that's kind of where I'm at on this. So nothing, I don't feel strongly about it. Just is what it is. But so 1 to 4.
I despise the way this song is sung.
Well, I remember because
me angry.
Look, funny story. We were on the way to the Outer Banks one time. Me and Andy were driving there. It was kind of, Folklore just came out. I really liked the record. I made Andy listen to like 4 songs on it, and Andy hated it. Andy was like, can we listen to something else? This is bullshit.
That's like every time me and Bailey go on a road trip.
Look, I can appreciate music even if it's not my preferred genre.
I'm sorry, but if you play
Taylor Swift,
I have to draw a line somewhere. The second you play Sublime and Dirty Heads, your credibility just goes out the window with me because they're just a shit band. And Bailey loves them. And it gives me, I'm going to have an embolism.
Whoa. We should talking Sublime over here.
Yeah, I'm with Classic on this one.
They're horrendous.
I have a Sublime t-shirt.
I don't love Sublime, but I have some good memories with a lot of their songs. I have taken many a trip riding around in the country of North Carolina.
Was it a physical trip or a drug?
A drug trip is the only way you can listen to that band.
Nah.
You've got to be blitzed out of your mind to make that music good.
It's very much music for people that like drugs. I don't love Sublime. I think it's kind of but
it's shit.
Yeah. To get your point.
I've had many a nice laugh with a buddy of mine who, for an entire road trip,
this sounds
just played
like
Pawn Shop
high.
on
really high
repeat
Sounds like you put one of those little pills on your tongue, and then I don't know what it does because I don't do drugs, but maybe it dissolves. I don't know, but it makes you feel really good. Apparently,
did you smoke the devil's lettuce?
To Ibiza.
Y'all, I can neither confirm nor deny if I've partaken of that sweet ganja.
All right, well,
that's the correct answer because it's a memory erasing drug.
Exactly, Dwight. So that leaves us with a good segue, actually. Talking of recreational drugs, we talked about the country. Now we're talking about the cold cans. Let's not lie to our audience and say beer, alcohol is not a recreational drug because it is. I mean, Carolina Jordan, do you think doing alcohol is cool? I mean,
I'll tell you what, if it might not be cool, but damn, it feels good.
All right. So the next topic, we're going into a little bit of the beer category here. Top 3 going around the room. We'll do one at a time. Worst times, top 3 worst times to drink a beer. I'm going to go to the man that is now pretty much sober these days. Trucker Andy, what is your number 3 worst time to drink a beer?
May sound like a story because it's actually happened, but when you pull out your third roadie when you get out of the car going to an event and you walk out with that beer and realize this is a family event and nobody's drinking.
I know exactly what trip you're talking about too. Lake Gaston.
It's a pretty bad time to be the one standing there with a beer.
All right. Well, there's one. Kyle, what's your number 3 on the top 3 worst things to drink a beer?
I'm going to say with Andy. Just in general. Just
drinking a beer with Andy?
Yeah, because he doesn't drink anymore. So you're that guy who...
It's just like, drink this beer. Don't be a bitch.
Yeah. Between him and Carter, they freaking bitched and moaned about that chili beer that I brought him at one time.
Man, that pumpkin beer sucked.
They cried about it.
You drank one sip of that. You drank one sip.
And it sucked.
DBAP, boys. DBAP.
All right. So, CRC, you literally
cried through that beer.
He cries over every beer. You don't like any beer, so I'm interested to see what your top 3 ridiculous things you're going to say about top 3 worst times drinking beer. What's number 3 for you? What's your number 3 reason for being a bitch?
Top 3 worst times to drink a beer. In no particular order, your own alcoholism intervention.
There.
That was dark. That was dark.
Yeah. This is a comedy show, Carter.
It was dark. It's real serious for a second.
Hey, look, you asked.
All right. So moving right along, Carolina Jordan. Number 3 for you.
I'm one of those that this is kind of maybe it's more
a tough situation.
Yeah, it's really tough for me, but I'm going to have to go with, for some reason, I can't do the whole hair of the dog. And that's that's one there for me because I feel like if I even smell it, I'm going to go ahead and lose my cookies, So I'd have to say the morning after for me personally, the morning after.
All right. So for me, it's similar to Andy's, and it's not an event. It's anybody that has spent time in the South and spent significant time tailgating, that you bring multiple, depending on your age. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3. If you're a fucking animal, it's 4. Beers on the walk from the truck to the stadium at a college football game on a Saturday. There was a time for me, it might have been 3. These days it's 2. And to be honest with you, by the time you get to that second beer, that son of a bitch is warm as cat piss in the middle of June. And you're sitting there.
Slow, bro.
Well, I mean, that's part of it being age and what makes it so terrible. By the time you get to that second beer, it's like, I don't want to drink this. So you kind of have to sneak off to where your boys don't see so you don't get roasted, and you drop it in the trash can before nobody can see. And that way nobody can say anything to you. But in reality, that second beer on the walk from the truck to the stadium is awful if it gets warm. Number 3 for me. All right. So doing some reverse things here. CRC, what's number 2 for you? And please don't tell us at a funeral.
Would it be bad if I told you that was running through my head to maybe say? Apparently, that's not the crowd to be making jokes like that in front of around here. All right, fine, whatever. I'll do a personal one.
Anytime.
The number one, well, yes. But
sitting in Kyle's basement in the fall with the pumpkin beer.
No, it's going to be another more personal one, and I'm gonna call her out live here on the podcast in front of Harley Sharon.
Ooh.
Oh wow!
Ooh.
Oh wow! Look at that other people.
Because she lit into me for being 5 Jello shots in at a Halloween party a few years ago.
You were
and I
right.
wasn't even buzzed. I wasn't even buzzed.
Hold up a second. I think you drove my girlfriend home that night.
He did.
I did drive your girlfriend home that night.
He did.
I did drive your girlfriend home that night, and I wasn't drunk at all.
Allegedly.
She was just like, Carter, stop drinking. Stop doing Jello shots. And I'm like,
to be fair to Classic,
feel anything.
To be fair to Classic, he did it like 5 in a row, roughly between 8 and 9, and nobody left until like 1 in the morning. So it was like there was a lot of time elapsed, but he did like pound them.
Classic Rock Carter.
I don't mean to call you.
Jordan's
out on the
like,
podcast,
wait a
Harley,
minute, my girlfriend was in that
listen,
car.
Your girlfriend got home perfectly safe
and satisfied. Nice. Nice. Had a boy, Carter.
Yeah, attaboy, Carter. Yeah.
All right, Jordan, what's for you? Top number 2 on your top 3 worst times to drink a beer.
Oh man. All right, so mine is the whole. I'm going against another public thing. I'm not all about the old puke and rally. So that whole afterwards is not my thing. Not the old puke and rally. Once I do it once, and Kyle and you probably heard me throw up a couple times. I will do it very, very lightly.
It's not graceful.
My face breaks out, and that's going to be one of those that's going to be one of those for me. Is the one after I blow chunks. So.
Ooh. Yeah, that's an awful beer. That's a good point. Ugh. When people are like, here, drink another, you're like, no, I don't need one. No, you have to. Don't be a bitch.
That reminds me of that one time Drew threw up a whole hot dog.
With only one bite mark.
Yeah, with only one bite mark. It was a full red Jesse Jones hot dog.
Yeah, Drew never listens to this podcast, so we'll be fine to say that.
Yeah. My worst time to drink a beer is during communion.
Oh, that would be good.
You sneak a beer into church?
Yeah, everybody takes their little sip of grape juice. You just pull out a natty.
I crack a can.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Pretty bad time.
Hey, this is drinking one of me. So.
All right. So Chuck or Andy, number 2, top 3 worst times to drink a beer.
Not that I know anybody's ever done this, but when you're about 3 sheets to the wind on some whiskey, and it's about 90% chance you're going to throw up that night, you decide, hey, maybe I should start chugging some beers, and you pretty much seal your fate that you are 100% throwing up tonight. Those are the bad beers.
Yeah. So number 2 for me is definitely when you're slightly hungover, like you've had a little bit of drink the day before. And then these days in your late 20s, you can't drink 2 days in a row. Not successfully as much as you could when you were a much younger man.
Oh, come on.
I mean, some of us aren't as tough as you, Carolina Jordan. But the next day you're out and like you're at dinner and your friends are like, hey, let's get a beer. And it's like, you don't really want a beer, but you have to get one. But you'll stomach through it, right? Because a cold beer, like you can make it through. But then you get a beer that's on draft and it's not fucking cold at all. It's warm. They had just changed the keg. Something's wrong with the whole situation with the hose or whatever. I've never worked at a bar. I don't fucking know. It's just something. It's not fucking cold. It's reality. That beer, when you take the first sip, is awful. And it takes a very, very valiant effort, as they say, to be able to get through it. So that's number 2 for me. Trying to get through a warm beer when you have a slight hangover.
Go ahead and give me the one because mine's pretty going to go close to on that one.
All right, number one
is the what you just said, but when you're on like a boys trip and it's the third day, your body has physically had it, and you still got to muster through and drink some beers on the third day when your body is just rejecting every sip you take. It is literally killing you.
Don't go
Those
on any trip.
Worst.
Don't
beers.
go on any trip with Jimmy, because James will make you drink on that last day when you do not want to.
That's one of the ones I was thinking about.
Yep.
And it's just you have had it, and it's like I am pretty sure I could throw up at any second drinking this.
Jimmy is a different animal out of state than he is in state. You get him in Texas or Tennessee or Florida. On that last day, he looks at you. He's like, "Don't be a bitch. You got to drink. You got to drink."
God,
you get him here, and he starts rubbing his head, and he's like, "I got to go home."
Yeah, I mean, he made John pound Jägermeister shots when he had COVID.
Yeah,
before COVID was a thing.
February 2020, Austin, Texas. So, all right, Jordan, number 2 or number 1 for you on top 3 worst times to drink a beer.
Sound like a flat out alcoholic here, but I'm going to say never. There's never a bad time to drink a beer for me. I'm going to be honest with you. You give me something cold, I'm going to knock it out at some point. So I'm going to go with that one.
It's not a bad answer. I'm not going to lie. All right, Kyle, what about you? Number 1.
If you were a female and pregnant.
Wow. God.
Oh, so I can't do the dark jokes, but Kyle is totally okay.
Carter, you can say what you want after that one. I'm going to go ahead.
You just pull up to the baby shower and pop a cold one.
Can't you have a glass of wine, though? Like, isn't that a thing? Like,
if you watch How I Met Your Mother, you could say just a little bit. All right, CRC, what about you? Number 1.
Well, you probably saw this coming. But the number 1 time that you don't want to have a beer for old CRC is never. You never want to have a beer because that shit sucks. Yeah.
Yours is like the exact opposite of Jordan's.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a beer guy. Not really much of an alcohol guy, to be honest. I'll do a jealous shot every now and then.
And when you do, you do them in spades.
If you fix me a sugary enough drink, I might be able to get it down and probably hurl my guts up later that night, but I can't do it.
Well, I guess that leaves me. So number 1 for me, realistically, is when you're at the point where you've switched up the type of alcohol you're drinking throughout the night. You go from beer, not that I've done this, just saying, but beer to bourbon, back to beer, to a Tito's Red Bull. Never had one of those. Don't like those. Back to beer.
A rum.
Then maybe a rum mix in. Then somebody makes you do a shot. Then you drink that last beer. You know you're going to have a headache minimum. You're also probably going to throw up at some point, whether it's that night or the next day. But the reality is that last beer, after switching up between liquor, beer, and not just like switching up between bourbon and beer, you're switching up different types of liquor. That last beer is tough to get down. It's tough to get down. And so that for me is the number 1 from not personal experience, just from what I've heard from friends.
Yeah.
It's just the worst one.
It's tough to get down.
My buddy told me that that's the worst beer, but he said it's okay if you take 2 ibuprofen and a bottle of water. You'll be totally fine afterward.
Yeah.
And your buddy must be me.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, top 3 worst times to drink a beer. Let us know what you think your top 3 worst times. Everybody has personal stories unless you're classic rock Carter. And then he just does jello shots before he drives Jordan's girlfriend home at a Halloween party. So, all right. So let's get into
like 4 hours ahead of time. Damn.
It was. Let's
I believe you, Potter. I believe you. No hard feelings. We're all right.
All right, let's get into the last topic here on Country and Cold Cans. Jordan, as we know by his name, and if you're watching on YouTube, his Carolina ugly ass, ridiculous background, his terrible hat he's wearing. He's a Carolina fan. I grew up a Duke fan, big state guy now, bleed red. But grew up a Duke fan. So Jordan and I have been friends for a very, very long time. And we, back in the day, used to talk about college basketball and even a little bit of college football back when we were in elementary and middle school. And it was always a contentious rivalry, but always in good fun between Carolina and Duke. And, at this point, I think it's important to bring up on Country and Cold Cans how the two legendary coaches from those two schools are retiring. Roy Williams last year, the greatest of all time in college basketball, Mike Krzyzewski this year. Jordan probably disagrees with that statement, but it's
I'm biting my tongue.
It's true nonetheless. But yeah, they're retiring. Coach K, had his last game the other night. Results, my internet cut out, so I don't know what happened at the end of that game. I don't know who won, but either way, Coach K had his last game. But yeah, so Jordan, I kind of want to get your take on what you think the impact of both of these guys is on college basketball, and also kind of the outlook on the Duke Carolina rivalry going forward.
Now, you know how diehard I am. You can take. Everybody knows this in the podcast, but I will. Let me start off by saying something decent about Coach K. If you're gonna actually deal with this,
this is huge, folks. Listen, make sure you hit screen record. And
I'm not going to say I respect him as a person, but I'm going to say I respect his accomplishments, and I thoroughly do respect what he did for Duke basketball, because honestly, where would Duke basketball be without Krzyzewski is probably, God only knows. But the man won 5 titles. Can't take that away. Pretty impressive. Still a POS in my book, but it's all I don't know. You respect him. It's like I texted you when it happened. I texted you and I said, sad to see him go because it's like the end of our childhood that we've seen growing up. But
Very
also
true.
don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Go ahead and get out of here. But what those two and Roy, I know your opinion on Roy. Roy knew, but
Roy 100% knew.
He didn't know.
He knows where the bodies were buried.
K did it the honest way. He just left $100K under the pillow during the official visit. He didn't make them take fake classes.
Kyle, you're like this too.
He did it the honest way. He just left a bag of cash underneath the pillow.
And he didn't. He just had a booster do it to you.
He just had a booster do it.
Deniability.
He did it the honest way. He didn't have this elaborate scheme of putting them in fake classes.
They just paid people, but they still had to go to class. People.
Yep.
Y'all just created fake curriculum.
Yep. See? Yep. And damage.
That didn't happen at all. But there's several other things that we could go into, but we're not going to go into with that. But Roy, I like the way Roy went out better, biased as hell.
Sure, you did.
But losing them two in that rivalry, as we've grown up watching it, as basketball fans have grown up watching it, it's going to be totally different. Absolutely, totally different. I was very skeptical of Hubert at first, but the man won 20-some games, 21, 22 games, something like that, first year. Can't really fuss about that. But granted, where does Duke go with Shire? We don't know. That's another thing.
They have the #1 recruiting class for next year. So
that doesn't help, but they've had that and haven't won a title since 2010. But yeah, sure, man. Whatever.
2015, but okay.
I'm talking about the ACC title.
All right, so the more important title doesn't count.
Yeah.
Understand Chapel Hill logic. No, I get it.
All right, let's hear your take on it then.
Yeah, so I just want everyone that's listening to know I'm going to be the classier, bigger man here. And I'm just going to say that when it comes to Roy Williams, I don't think he's a POS. I think he is a man that if he had not coached at the University of National Cheaters, I probably very much would like the guy. I think that
he's a swine.
I think that he is not a terrible guy in the grand scheme of things. Like, there are people that are worse. I mean, we talked about Death Row by Thomas Rhett. I mean, there are people that have murdered people. So Roy's better than them. But at the same time, Roy Williams, like, he knew where the bodies were buried. We know that. But I've said, and I've contended for many years, and Carolina fans don't always agree with me on this, Roy Williams is literally the greatest coach in North Carolina basketball history. Dean Smith is not better than Roy Williams. I don't give a damn if they say Dean Smith invented pointing to the man for the assist. Big fucking deal. He's like, you know what? He did the little fist so I could come out. You know what? Somewhat I could salute to my coach and be like, I need to come out. Big fucking deal. Roy Williams won 3 national titles. Dean Smith won 2. Dean Smith won one in 82 and 93. It took him from 61 or 2, I think it was, to 82 to finally win one. And it wasn't like Carolina was bad before that. He won, like, they just won one in 57. Dean Smith is the Bobby Cox. And I'm saying this as a Braves fan, the Bobby Cox of college basketball. Never has a man done so much or so little with so much. He literally is the only man to keep Michael Jordan under 20-something points a game. I think he's overrated. Said what I said. Roy Williams, great coach. He catches a lot of shit from the Carolina fans at times throughout his career, unnecessarily, in my opinion, to the point that I even felt bad for him, because Roy Williams has a guy who came back in 2003, took over a program that was in shambles with Matt Doherty, and got them back to respectable level in 1 year. And then in his second year, he wins a national title. Wins another one in 2009 with the most ridiculous human being of all time that ever played for Carolina, Tyler Hansbrough. News just this just in, he lost another contact. But reality is, really, really top tier coach, probably top 3 to 5 in college basketball history. Roy Williams, great coach. Now, I got to say, as a State fan, I respect him because Roy Williams put emphasis, even when we were down, on that rivalry. Because Roy Williams remembers how it was beforehand, before the Krzyzewski era. He was from that era of Carolina when State was the number 1 threat to Carolina. So, like, he put an emphasis. And guess what? I say this as a State fan. Like, he was State's daddy for a long time. I mean, you look at his record against State, like, it was crazy. Glad to see him go. Like Jordan said, hate to see him leave for basketball. Don't let the door hit him on the ass when he goes out. But Roy Williams, greatest Carolina coach of all time, top 3 to 5 coach in college basketball history. I don't think he's a terrible guy, but at the same time,
I'm sorry. I just have to say this.
He definitely knew, but Kyle, throwing it over to you, tell us why you think Roy Williams is a piece of shit, because somebody needs to say it, because I don't think it. I don't think it.
Nothing irks me more than his fake, daggum, Roy. That stick.
Huckleberry Hound bullshit.
He's a very educated man, and he does that bullshit. Oh, who, me? Oh, Roy, shtick. It fucking pisses me off. Like, bro, shut up.
I do think he pisses me off sometimes, but I don't think he's a piece of shit. I do think he's fake in the same way Dabo Sweeney.
That's my point.
I think he's the Dabo Sweeney of college basketball.
That is a great comparison.
Mr. All Shucks Southern kind of bullshit.
Yeah, nobody buys Dabo shtick. He's like Brian Kelly, too.
I'm glad to be down here in Baton Rouge with my family.
Yeah, my family. Yeah,
Mr. Authentic.
Nobody buys that except UNC fans, and they eat it up.
But at the end of the day, he is one of the top 3 to 5 greatest coaches of all time. You can't take away the accomplishments. In the same way Jordan was talking about Coach K, you can't take away the accomplishments.
Well, he's 100% better than Dean, because one of Dean's titles he won without a shot clock.
Hey, that's just being smart there. I mean, the 4 quarters was thing. I mean, I get it.
One of his titles wasn't even in modern basketball.
Jordan, how do you feel about the shift?
Hey, do you want to go with my boy Joey Gallo, or are we going totally different here?
I just want to know your opinion on the shifts in baseball.
Obviously, all right, there's no doubt I'm a Carolina fan and I'm a Yankees fan.
Ooh, yeah. Let me guess, you're also a Lakers fan.
No, I'm not a Lakers fan. I hate the Lakers. But no, I think you should be honestly able to do whatever the hell you want to do, to be honest. If you want to put that risk and put it over there, learn how to bunt. Learn how to send it the other way. Let's play some small ball, and you can ruin a ship. I mean, you could honestly kill the ship.
At least you're consistent on that. I'll give you credit on that.
I mean, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got to wrap it up with Kyle. Stick to your American over there. Even though I was there.
The Power Six. The Power Six.
Now, we all know where the heart lies here.
Well, my final comment on this is the best and worst thing about Coach K and Roy both retiring is unless there's a new top dog, the balance of power has shifted out of the ACC in college basketball.
Probably so. This year they saw
for the foreseeable future. I think with those two leaving, I think that rivalry, I think ESPN will try to pimp it, but it's not the same.
It'll become Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, yep. That's kind of what I said. ESPN is going to try to pimp it as hard as they will, but you can already see it. I mean, the SEC and the Big Ten have kind of just out of nowhere just grabbed the reins. And I think
SEC in particular, because Big Ten's actually been pretty decent for a while, but it's the SEC.
Right,
It's not just Kentucky and everybody else anymore.
Like Auburn decided they wanted to get serious on basketball.
Yeah. Rick Barnes, Tennessee, Auburn, Bruce Pearl. Good league now.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Alabama, I think, has the number 3 recruiting class.
Yeah. Jordan, last question before we wrap things up on this edition of Country and Cold Cans is, what do you think is the future of the rivalry in the now that we have Hubert Davis and the new Shire hire in Durham? What do you think happens, like when it comes to magnitude or how good they're going to be? I want to know your opinion right now after on the heels of the big win in Durham.
This is actually going to hurt me to say that I actually kind of agree with Kyle. That really hurts a lot, massively a lot. Now I do think it's still going to be Duke Carolina because, I mean, I get there's no quote unquote big names, but you still have the players there that played in it. Mostly on each staff, you have Nolan Smith with Duke, you have Shire there, we have Sean May, Hubert. So I think that part is going to be there. I think the players still know. I think that's why you come to Carolina. That's why you come to Duke to play in that game. But will the quality of the game go down a little bit? I think so.
Probably.
We've always talked about it's weird how it doesn't matter. It goes from you can win at my home court, I'm going to win at yours. It's always usually split. There's not too many sweeps in the rivalry, no matter what. It's not too many. We talked about, even to get on the gambling aspect, we talked about me and you, it was a 12.5-point spread when the line opened.
Yeah.
I mean,
you were dumb as fuck if you took that and bet on Duke.
That is outrageous for a rivalry game. That thing. I mean, there's no way. I get it was a trap. I mean, it's literally Carolina got their ass whooped, and I was an eyewitness there. I watched it. Me and Chris were sitting up there like, man, this is terrible.
I'm glad that you guys were present for that game.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Hey, but we did talk to Paulo's parents, and actually I have respect for Paulo, if you can imagine that. But it shows you that Vegas has a hand in everything.
Oh yeah.
I think. And so just for that spread to be that high because of that loss, it's like, who's going to be the suckers to throw it on the favorite here?
Yeah. Well, let's wrap things up here on this edition of Country and Cold Cans. But Carolina Jordan, we appreciate you coming on. CRC, you too. Make sure you look out for in the fall. Like I said, Cold Cans Network is bringing to you a college football podcast that we're going to be starting. We'll have more details as we get closer when it comes to the name of the podcast as well as when it starts. But me and Jordan will be on that one. And, welcome to the team. Glad to have you on this week. So for this episode of Country and Cold Cans, I'm Logan, sitting here with Kyle, Trucker Andy, CRC, and Jordan. We'll see you next time.
Happy birthday to the big LD.
Yeah, happy birthday, man. I forgot to tell you that. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4.